But at the end of the day, our position prevailed. The rule of law prevailed in our country. Madam Speaker, for me, that was poetic justice. Because the young Anthony Sylvester, I am so proud of that young man. So very proud of him. He asked me to join on his legal team to prepare a legal opinion on the whole constitutionality of the special agreement. And I was so proud, and I'm still proud of Anthony to this day, because he did a remarkable job. And again, the Prime Minister is a part of the law firm, and he didn't agree with our opinion. His signature is not on that legal opinion. And I think it has a lot to do, Madam Speaker, with the fact that the whole move to the ICJ is the former Prime Minister's baby. And I have to respect that. A good father never abandons his children. So we have to respect that. And so, Madam Speaker, he watched it from 1998 all to 2008, growing from a baby all the way into a little boy or a little girl. I want to be politically correct here, referring to the ICJ baby. And so he raised that child to that point, Madam Speaker, without Belize losing the Sarstoon. Madam Speaker, even though the Prime Minister raised that ICJ baby up to 2008, when the UDP administration took over that baby, and I want to be very kind to them, Madam Speaker, but now that baby is a teenager who is a drug addict, who is a criminal, Madam Speaker, depending on foreign money. We can't even afford our own education campaign. How absolutely ridiculous is that, Madam Speaker? And so, going back to the legal proceedings, because I heard the member for Colette say that, oh, I think the PUP going to start one new case. We're not going to start no new case, Madam Speaker. It is still a live issue before the courts as we stand here today. And that is what they need to understand. That is what they need to realize. That they need to take one chill pill, man. Why is there this mad rush? Is it that you are so upset and your ego is so bruised that you have to now come to the house in the normal fashion that you do to change the law because you're not happy with what the Chief Justice has ruled in this country? Is that why we are here today? The ink hasn't even properly dried on the injunction paper, Madam Speaker. And here we are in the house of Pharaoh. Here we are, Madam Speaker, in the house where all things that are illegal and unlawful and unconstitutional that happen outside these doors are brought back in here, and with the wave of a magical wand are made legal. Let us not forget the 9th Amendment. Let us not forget the BTL saga that cost Belizeans $550 million when he brought that stinking settlement agreement that cost us all that money. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget UHS. I think UHS at 120 million right now. We still not pay that yet, Madam Speaker. And I can go on and on, because that is what Pharaoh does whenever he's unhappy with other people's opinions. He comes to this house to try to make it legal, and then those on the other side try to pet and powder him and caress his ego that has been damaged so bad that he cannot sleep at night. And it should never be, Madam Speaker, that the ego of an individual overrides or clouds your thought process to the point that you forget national interests. That is what has happened to the Prime Minister here, Madam Speaker. He has lost the confidence of the Belizean people. I believe his record right now is some 0-9 against Eamon Courtney. Am I the only one who thinks that the Prime Minister should be hiring Eamon Courtney to fight our case? Am I the only one? Madam Speaker, what happened last week in the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, I'm very proud to have been a part of that process. It was very historic because the point that Anthony, myself, and Dicky put in our legal opinion, and it's based, Madam Speaker.
Are you going to go into those
no, Madam Speaker, no.
That has no bearing.
I'm going to touch on the special agreement because that's in the bill today. It revolved around the special agreement, and the point that we are making is that because the special agreement says that we are assigning our responsibility as a National Assembly to change the Constitution because our borders are in the Constitution, we are assigning that responsibility to an international court. The law is clear. We need to come to the National Assembly and we need to get a 2/3 majority vote. That is what the law says, Madam Speaker. And so, like my friend, the member for Orange Walk South, said a few minutes ago, and he was not telling a lie, and I'm sure the UDP are fully aware of it. When the party met as a caucus on Wednesday, we reviewed this matter, and you say, you know what? The Prime Minister is going to the House to fix a defective writ because the Chief Justice found the writ was defective. He's going to go under the Referendum Act, and we're going to go pass a resolution that we have a referendum on the ICJ issue. Point blank, that is what was supposed to have been done. And so we're not going to stand in the way of the Belizean people and prevent a vote on that issue, Madam Speaker. But then when they try to be cute and they try to trick we, and then they present a bill now that has in there at the very clause 3 the word special agreement, that we are going to go to a referendum in accordance with the special agreement. That matter is a live issue before the courts. Madam Speaker, there is a court case on Monday before the Chief Justice. There is a case management conference on Thursday, Madam Speaker, before the Court of Appeal. And so I am 100% in agreement with your ladyship when you said we shouldn't be talking about matters before the court, but this entire bill concerns a matter that is before the court. So the Prime Minister, when he got up this morning, ought to have been made aware of 38(1), which says you are not to speak on any matter that's still before the court. And so despite, Madam Speaker, the long history of this Prime Minister coming to this House and always changing the law when it doesn't suit him, it was always after the courts had completed their cases. But this time, Madam Speaker, it is smack dab in the middle of a court case that he's coming to this honorable House. And why is he doing that? Is he doing that because of Jimmy Morales? Because Jimmy wants us to hurry up and go to our referendum, Madam Speaker? I want to ask the Prime Minister, when Guatemala told us that they were going to postpone their referendum in 2013 and then again in 2015, did he write to Jimmy Morales and say, you need to hurry up, you need to have your referendum? That is the kind of disrespect that Guatemala treats Belize, Madam Speaker. And then, in relation to the Sarstoon issue, Madam Speaker, we have been led like sheep. We are being led like sheep to the slaughter on this Sarstoon issue. And you hear the other side trying to say, oh, but make we go to court, man, and the court won't solve it, man. You know what the court will tell we? The court now say, how you allow Guatemala to just take over your whole river and your whole island, man? That is what the court is going to tell us. The court is going to look at us and say, how did you stand up? Did you invoke Article 39 of the UN Charter, which says very clearly that if a neighboring country aggresses you, you must report it to the United Nations so they can deal with it? Did Belize do that, Madam Speaker? And the answer is no. And so they want to tell us today, let's go to ICJ, let's go to where? Madam Speaker, my position has always been, and I need to make it very clear, yes, the 1859 treaty, that looked good. 1921 notes, that looked good. But Madam Speaker, what has happened since 2008 to present has been a full-on disaster when it comes to our diplomatic relations, Madam Speaker. And we have to acknowledge that my position has always been that Belize must always stand on its strongest possible footing before we take this matter to a referendum. That is my position. And so, it is regrettable, Madam Speaker, it is very regrettable that the people who are going to go to the polls in 15 days or whenever you all decide to call it, again, you're rushing that because it lasted 30 days, but you all want it in 15 days. When the people go to the polls, Madam Speaker, they are so confused right now. They won't be voting on the ICJ or whether or not we have good merits to go to the ICJ. They're going to be voting on a prime minister who thinks he's Pharaoh and just thinks he can come here and fix everything. They're going to be voting on an artificial border foreign minister who insists on continuing even to this damn day that we have an artificial border. As Mr. Finnegan said, that got more nerves than 10 bad teeth for going to the house with that stupidness there. Sorry for the language, Madam Speaker. Again, it's a very emotional day for all of us. a little bit. Madam Speaker, that's what they're going to be voting on. The Belizean people are going to go vote for their brothers and sisters who have been left behind. This government here, this one right here, so, run over all the Belizean there in a bus. And not even look back in the rear view mirror to say, why anyone don't get hurt back there? They not care. I heard the member for mess up, the Honorable Mr. Finnegan, a few months ago, he gave an undertaking to this court, you know. Not to this court, but to this house. He gave an undertaking that he, along with the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and it's on record, are going to find a mechanism because even people in his constituency have been disenfranchised. And he said, we're going to find a way, Mr. Prime Minister, so that all of us can vote at the referendum. Takos. Takos. Alone takos. Here we are months later, and Pepper, you're right, my brother, and Pepper. Here we are months later. They wanted to have an illegal referendum. You don't have to thank me today. Don't thank us today, but we saved you all from an illegal referendum. And the matter is still before the courts, and so the people, Madam Speaker, are going to be voting with that in mind. The people are going to be voting with the rule of law in mind. No prime minister, even if you think you're a pharaoh, could come and disrespect the judiciary in the way that this prime minister has. When I came to the budget debate, Madam Speaker, I regrettably had to condemn the prime minister for what he said about a sitting justice of the peace. Little did I know that only 1 week later, he would then assault the Chief Justice of Belize. Madam Speaker, and I have to condemn that again today.
Honourable Member, I think you need to move on from that.
No, Madam Speaker, I haven't even touched that yet. This is a new point. This is a totally
new point. You really need to move on.
Madam Speaker,
You need to move on from
when a Prime Minister can come out like that against the Chief Justice of our country, it undermines our democracy in the worst possible way. It undermines the rule of law, and it was aimed at embarrassing him. Well, who is swallowing their vomit today? Who is now acknowledging and conceding that the Chief Justice was right? Because he can't write us, so can't fix it. And so he was talking a pile of nonsense when he said that the Chief Justice was wrong. Come on, sit down and enjoy this, no worry. Sit down and enjoy this. Madam Speaker, what we have here today, as I mentioned, is a knee-jerk reaction, an ego-driven mad rush to prove his selfish point, and to prove to everyone, and to beat his chest and say that he can still have a referendum. But that, Madam Speaker, regrettably only serves to strengthen the resolve of the Belizean people. Madam Speaker, this bill will pass today, and it will probably be challenged because it's still before the courts. You have to understand that. And even though we are in the house of Pharaoh, I am comforted, Madam Speaker. I am comforted in knowing that our Belizean people are far more educated. They are far smarter than this Prime Minister gives them credit for. And even though Pharaoh will have his way today, I am comforted in knowing that the Belizean people will have their say. That is what I am comforted by. It should never be the case, Madam Speaker, that the end game is just to say, I was able to have my referendum, I was able to have my way, hell or high water, no matter the outcome. Madam Speaker, the most unfortunate thing, Madam Speaker, is that instead of getting a vote on the merits of the ICJ, what we really will be getting in the next 15 or so days is a protest vote. People are tired, Madam Speaker, of seeing this government break the law and then coming to this house to change the law. The same way that you are rushing to this honorable house and giving the opposition only 20 hours notice is the same way that the people of Belize are going to rush to the polls, Madam Speaker. And they are going to stop this runaway train. They are going to stop this runaway dictator, because our country is founded on laws, on the rule of law, and we value our democracy.
Excuse me 1 minute, please. Will the gallery please settle down? If not, I really will clear it now. Continue.
Thank you,
Clerk.
Madam Speaker, okay. I listened, Madam Speaker, this morning as the Prime Minister, followed by the member from Collett, the Deputy Prime Minister, began spewing this propaganda, Madam Speaker, that somehow it is us, the PUP, that is depriving the people of the vote. As I mentioned earlier, they have run over 2,500 Belizeans they have deprived those Belizeans of their right to vote, Madam Speaker. And it is not through any fault of those Belizeans that they won't have a say. It's not their fault that the Vital Statistics Office is rat infested. It is not their fault that pages have been torn out, Madam Speaker. And so, that is the audacity of that side to try to come with that sort of propaganda that it is us depriving Belizeans. We are telling you, hold on. We're telling you, hold your horses, man. Take on chill pill. Or as my son likes to say, relax, dude. Relax, sleep it. And just try fix the problems. Why force it? Why the rush? Madam Speaker. And they want to talk about depriving people of their right to vote. It is this government, Madam Speaker, as a matter of record, that blocked Belizeans residing abroad from having a say in this referendum. And not tell me no nonsense about oh Karim bring the bill late and oh this and oh that. The members of Belizeans, citizens living abroad have been meeting with the Prime Minister for over a year, asking him to afford them that right to vote in the upcoming referendum. And let me say this, Madam Speaker, the bill was lodged with the clerk and sent to the Prime Minister from December of last year. So not bring no nonsense, because he knows, I know, Madam Chair knows, that the government could have, if they wanted Belizeans to have a say, passed it in one day. Madam Speaker, that bill finally made it to the floor on the 25th of March after a long budget debate. It was nearing the midnight hour, and I know that the Prime Minister was tired. However, I could never have imagined that he and the member for Collett would have had such a meltdown. Both the Prime our democracy, those are the same ones that made childish attempts to shut